Yo, yo, yo.
I can't walk.
I don't have some cool intro, so let's just get to the start of the show.
First, let me start this video by telling you the Rocky films make up my all-time favorite movie franchise. I was 7 years old in 1985 when I saw Rocky IV for the first time, and I'll admit back then I thought the movie was
awesome!
And for 35 years after that day, I've rewatched it over and over again.
Millions
of times. But now at 43 years of age,
old as fuck.
When I removed the sentiment and nostalgia I felt for the film as a kid and watched it again recently through the eyes of an adult that knows bullshit when I see it, I realized that Rocky IV's just
terrible.
Now I know for some of you, hearing a statement like that from a self-proclaimed lifelong Rocky fan might sound
blasphemous!
But before all of you die-hard Rocky fans out there unsubscribe to me and dislike this video by giving it a thumbs down, please allow me to explain to you my 5 reasons why Rocky IV is a bad movie. How old does a movie have to be to no longer need a spoiler alert? In the 3 films prior to Part 4, Rocky's opponents had scenes in their respective movies that explained their motives to the audience so we can understand them better. In the first film, heavyweight champion of the world Apollo Creed couldn't find an opponent to face, so he randomly chose Rocky. Why would you pick some random guy off the street and give him a shot at the title, Apollo?
And I'll tell you why. Because I'm sentimental. And a lot of other people in this country are just as sentimental, and there's nothing they'd like better than to see Apollo Creed give a local Philadelphia boy a shot at the greatest title in the world on this country's biggest birthday. Now that's the way I see it. And that's the way it's gonna be.
Apollo, I like it. It's very American.
No, Juergens. It's very smart.
In the sequel, Apollo's butt hurt because he didn't beat Rocky's ass the way he wanted to.
Man, I won, but I didn't beat him!
So he goes on a nationally televised smear campaign to get his rematch with Rocky. In the third film, Clubber Lang feels Rocky, now the world champion's ducking his challenge despite being #1 contender to the title.
And why don't you tell all these nice folks why you've been ducking me? Politics, man. This country wants to keep me down. Keep everybody weak. They don't want a man like me to have the title because I'm not a puppet like that fool up there. The little man don't want to come to me. Then I'll come to you people and lay out the truth. I am ranked #1. That means I'm the best. But this bum been taking the easy matches, fighting other bums. I'm telling you and everybody here, I'll fight him anywhere, anytime. But you people ain't never gonna see that happen because he's gonna retire. You see, he don't fight no real man. He fight them setups.
In Rocky IV, Ivan Drago's introduced as a boxer from Russia who uses steroids, and that's it. For those of you who may not know or remember, because 1985 was
a long time ago,
the United States were embroiled in a Cold War with Russia. Because of this, in the 80s, Americans were programmed by the media to look at the Soviet Union like the evil empire of foreign countries. Hollywood made a bunch of movies depicting all Russians as communist assholes. Sylvester Stallone was no different, doing the exact same thing in Rocky IV because he was too busy killing Vietnamese people in Rambo First Blood Part 2. With that said, the film uses this American hate towards Russia to paint Ivan Drago as more than just Rocky's next opponent, but as a villain. The film desperately wants the audience to hate this guy so much that he kills Apollo Creed in a boxing match.
What?
Ivan Drago's lack of remorse for committing murder in his post-match interview tells the audience that this piece of shit is pure evil. I think Rocky IV would have been a better film if Ivan Drago had a backstory the audience could sympathize with instead of this roided up cyborg with no personality. Drago could have been written as a guy who was born and raised in poverty, so he joined the Russian army because he fell for the same recruitment speech that Americans hear in the States.
So you think you're all hot tamales right now? I'll tell you, why don't you come down to the base and understand what it's really like to be somebody special. You work hard, you learn, and then you can build refrigerators and such.
He impresses the Russian army by going undefeated in their boxing program, so they offer his family an opportunity at a better life in exchange for him becoming their roided up lab rat prize fighter. At some point before he's introduced to the American sports world, he wants out of that deal because the steroids are shrinking his balls, but the Russians tell him if he quits, then they'll tell him his family.
Back to the ghetto you go.
Which forces him to go along with their plans. I came up with that scenario in 5 fucking minutes.
Because you're a dumbass.
Instead, Ivan Drago was given no depth to his character, so the film turned him into an over-the-top villain that would be more appropriate in the world of professional wrestling. One of the reasons why every other Rocky film works for me is those films portray the antagonist as having relatable motivations that are just as important to them as Rocky's are to him. What's Drago's motivation? Russian world domination if he wins a boxing championship?
Hey, yo, who mans is this?
Get the fuck out of here.
According to the movie, a normal heavyweight boxer's punch averages 700 pounds of pressure per square inch. In a televised exhibition of his strength, Ivan Drago shows the world that his punch averages 1,850 pounds of pressure per square inch.
So the result's quite obvious.
And what results are those?
Whatever he hits, he destroys.
I'm not a smart man.
But I would think if a member of any boxing commission on planet Earth saw that shit, Ivan Drago would have to drop a urine sample right there on the spot immediately. And I mean right there in front of all those scientists and the press. The news could even blur his dick out so the world can watch him piss with his own penis on TV.
Oh my.
A reporter asked if rumors about Drago's substance abuse were true, which means people knew that this nigga was cheating already.
He's not fighting fair!
One would only assume that after Drago killed Apollo Creed in their boxing match, that somebody would suggest this guy take a drug test.
Wrong.
Instead, the film's boxing commission allows Drago to be sanctioned in a title match where he gives Rocky partial brain damage that seems to last for just one movie.
What's up with that?
In real life, Ivan Drago would have lost his boxing license before he ever even touched gloves with Apollo, let alone Rocky. But since this minor detail would stop the movie from happening, the audience has to accept the fact that every member of the boxing commission in Rocky's cinematic universe are
So fucking stupid.
Every Rocky film has a fight strategy that explains why he's doing the various unique exercises seen in the training montages. In the first movie, Rocky doesn't think he can beat the heavyweight champion of the world, so he's training just to go the distance with Apollo. In that fight, Rocky almost goes blind in his right eye because he can't dodge a jab to save his life, so his trainer Mickey comes up with this plan in the sequel.
To pull this miracle off, you gotta change everything. You gotta learn to be a right-handed fighter. Now this'll confuse Apollo, and it'll protect that bad eye. You start fighting right-handed, and then you change sudden, and that'll make history. But first, you gotta get speed. Demon speed. Speed's what we need. We need greasy, fast speed.
Mickey dies in the third film. Clubber Lang beat Rocky like he stole something in their first fight, and coupled with Mickey's death, Rocky was feeling sorry for his dumbass self. Apollo, bored from retirement, trains Rocky by giving him rhythm and teaches him how to get black people fast.
Eye of the tiger.
That speed helped Rocky counterpunch all those haymakers Clubber Lang threw at him to win their second fight. In part 6, Rocky Balboa, they brought back Apollo's trainer Duke to explain their strategy against Mason the Lion Dixon.
To beat this guy, you need speed. You don't have it. And your knees can't take the pounding, so hard running is out. And you got arthritis in your neck, and you've got calcium deposits on most of your joints, so sparring is out. So what we'll be calling on is good old-fashioned blunt force trauma. Horsepower, heavy-duty cast iron, pile-driving punches that will have to hurt so much they'll rattle his ancestors. Every time you hit him with his shot, it's got to feel like he tried kissing the express train. Yeah, let's start building some hurting bombs.
When I watch Drago's footage in the training montages, I think to myself, he should kick Rocky's ass. When I watch Rocky's footage in the training montages, I think to myself, Rocky should get his ass kicked.
I'm not a smart man.
But how's training to be a CrossFit lumberjack gonna prepare you to withstand the trauma of getting hit repeatedly by somebody who can punch twice as hard as you can? I know the cold's supposed to toughen him up, but chopping down trees and dragging Paulie on a sled through snow for 6 months supposed to make me believe that Rocky's gained a competitive edge over Drago?
Really? Really?
No reason or strategies explained for what I feel were poor choices for training methods. A person like me needs those explanations.
Because you're a dumbass.
I don't have any alternative exercises to suggest here because I don't know how someone's supposed to train for a fight against a person who can literally kill people in boxing matches.
What?
I would suggest he beat up meat at the factory again if he didn't get in trouble for that shit in the first movie.
Look, I'm sorry. I can't have you in here punching the meat. I mean, there's really not too many things you can't do in here, but that is one of them.
What about Paulie? He's having sex with the meat.
Hey, Rock, I'm porking it.
That's a good one.
Did I mention Apollo Creed was literally murdered in a boxing match in the movie?
What?
Other than cashing in on American hate against Russia at the box office, the only purpose Rocky IV serves to the franchise was killing off Carl Weathers. Without his death, all of the other characters would have
Absolutely nothing
to do in the movie. That means Paulie would get more camera time and we would
finally
get to see if he figured out how to program that robot to jerk him off. Apollo losing his life in his fight with Drago sends a message that he's physically inferior to Rocky, who only suffered from migraine headaches after his fight with Drago. For 3 films, the franchise treated Apollo Creed like he's
The Count of Monte Cristo.
And now I'm supposed to believe he can't last more than 3 rounds with this chump because he takes steroids?
Really? Really?
Why couldn't Apollo just get beat up real bad and stay in bed until the end of the movie? At the very least, he could have suffered lingering after effects from the fight, so he becomes a commentator like Floyd Weatherton from Family Guy.
Wow. Well, what do you think, Floyd? How did Lois Griffin do what no other challenger could do and knock out Deirdre Jackson?
I have a strong headache when I go to sleep and wake up.
And how do you think that's going to affect Jackson's next fight?
My Puerto Rican wife got fat.
You already know why I think Apollo died.
I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all.
Do you want to know what I think Drago's trainer told him before he used his right hand? Is Rocky IV a movie or a musical? Apollo's entrance is literally 5 minutes long because they hired James Brown to list every major city in the United States. Sylvester Stallone even makes a gesture during the performance to let the audience know that the song's long as fuck. After an argument with Adrian over accepting a fight with Drago, Rocky gets in his Porsche for a drive to clear his head during a tribute montage to Apollo and No Easy Way Out's playing in the background. When Rocky started driving, I had no clue where he was going, but by the end of the song, I knew exactly where he was headed. He was going to get gas. The film gives the audience a break by only playing 2/3 of Burning Heart when Rocky arrives in Russia, but since none of the characters had
Absolutely nothing
to talk about, Rocky just goes to bed and music for the first training montage begins. At some point during every training montage in the franchise, Adrian gives Rocky a motivational speech because he's unsure of himself. The movie even cuts that short because they had to play Hearts on Fire in its entirety immediately afterwards in the second training montage. Adrian's supposed to be the voice of reason in these films.
You can't win!
But because Sylvester Stallone wrote this script on a roll of toilet paper, she's basically given only one line to say.
I'm with you no matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what.
At the end of the day, Rocky IV is a poorly executed revenge film that uses music and patriotism to mask the fact that it's a bad movie. It's basically the subplot in The Princess Bride.
Hello. My name is
Rocky Balboa.
You killed my
best friend.
Prepared.
You will lose.
Even Sylvester Stallone knows he fucked up because he made a sequel to this story in Creed 2 where I felt he
Totally redeem yourself
by making right everything that was wrong with this movie. Part 5 used to be my least favorite movie in the franchise because Rocky goes broke and his son is just
terrible.
But now I give it credit for at least trying to be a movie. If you agree with me but still love this film, I won't judge you because I love a bunch of bad movies. I can still watch Over the Top today knowing damn well that it's just Rocky arm wrestling. But like I said at the start of this video, Rocky's my all-time favorite movie franchise and I feel Part 4 just doesn't live up to the standard of the other films. Please believe me when I tell you I shit on this movie out of love.
And that's all I have to say about that.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the like like button, please subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comment section below.
Peace. I'm Audi 5000.
Those who wish to follow me, I welcome with my hand. Thank you for being a friend.
And those are my thoughts for this video. But then again, what do I know? I'm just an old crippled bastard. Ooh, 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 ooh. I ain't too proud to beg for your money, so like, share, and subscribe.